Was it an arm pump, a new Porsche, a $30 haircut, or a $300 chain? Dogs aside, what has made women smile at you more? Story 1. When I worked out 5 days a week, I received attention everywhere I went. However, not as much since I have not been going to the gym lately. Story 2. The baby is in my arms. I was waiting for my friend near the store and looking after his child at that moment. Story 3. Better pictures. Previously, my dating profile featured only head selfies. After a break, I took a few gym selfies showcasing my outline and asked friends to take pictures of me while we were hanging out at scenic spots or trendy restaurants. I made sure to include 1 or 2 photos of myself in stylish button-down shirts and leather jackets. Suddenly, I received more likes in a week than I had ever gained in months. In summary, gym selfies, candid pictures with friends, photos in stylish clothing, pictures with pets, images of delicious food, and shots at upscale restaurants. Apart from looking good, women are visually attracted to appealing food, cute animals, and interesting locations. Story 4. Pretend I know what I am doing when I clearly do not. Even if I admit I do not, I treat it like it is a non-issue. Story 5. Losing weight. Many women claim it is only an issue they face. As a man who lost 60 pounds in about 4 to 6 months, the difference in how I was treated was undeniable. Story 6. I am filling out my shirts with my physique. I enjoy the attention, so I use it as motivation to continue going to the gym. Story 7. Being gay comes up along with a few other aspects of my job and people's assumptions. For women who don't know much about me, being gay might top the list. They all want to turn me straight. It's amazing how many women seem to think that having a sexual relationship with them will change who I am. I'm okay with who I am, and their insistence is really a turn-off and offensive. Story 8. I grew a beard. It makes me look like I have a stronger jawline and chin. Women who were acquaintances suddenly became interested. Story 9. Weight loss. A few years ago, I was 6 feet 1 inch and weighed 285 pounds. I made the decision to cut out sodas, eat healthy, and started walking and doing push-ups. Nothing extreme. I am happily married for 27 years and socially outgoing, as I am from the South. I will talk to anyone who gets within 6 feet of me. Sometimes it's just a hey or hi, maybe a good morning, or a comment about the weather being a blessing that day. Most men reciprocated, but women seemed put out that I had the gall to speak to them. Surprisingly, even heavier women were often the most offended when I dared to speak in public. When I dropped to 260 pounds, women didn't mind the casual greetings and pleasantries all of a sudden. When I dropped to 240 pounds, they were more receptive and even prolonged the conversation. Sometimes I received casual flirty cues, like twisting their hair or standing in a certain way as if on display. At 220 pounds and 24% body fat, women would approach me, initiate conversations, and openly flirt. I experienced a few instances where they brushed up against me in the grocery store or went out shopping, giving me the come-hither look, even if my wife was just 10 feet away. It became an almost tiring barrage of interactions. I was 45 at that time, and even younger women would hit on me. Then we all faced restrictions due to the pandemic in 2020. I spent a fair amount of time feeling unwell and packed on the pounds. Now I'm back around 275 pounds, and my civil and social greetings in public are mostly ignored or only moderately tolerated by women. So the next time someone starts complaining about how men are shallow and judgmental, only seeing women for their bodies, just remember, it might be true, but if the shoe fits, there's usually another one in the box for the other foot, too. Story 10. Confidence combined with a vintage car can be appealing. While some women might be attracted to new and expensive cars, many others appreciate classic models for their charm and character. Story 11. Work out, get a nice haircut, and wear well-fitting shirts. Women were approaching me randomly at the bar. Story 12. I have pretty curly hair. I grew it down to my shoulders for the first time and get big ringlets as it dries. I have been wanting to cut it forever because long curly hair can be difficult to manage each morning. However, I receive many compliments from both women and men about how much they love that I am embracing my look. Story 13. Wedding ring. I swear I have been approached far more often and aggressively since wearing one. Granted, it has decreased a bit now that I am older and less attractive. But in my early 20s? Unbelievable. Story 14. Being calm and empathetic in the moment, without worrying about the outcome, makes conversations more enjoyable. Story 15. Having an Irish accent while living in Canada. At one point, I was quite lean and women thought I had abs. I also worked as a bouncer. Story 16. I have had several women tell me that I make everyone feel welcome and important. I am not particularly loud or talkative. I simply smile, greet people, listen when they talk, and ask them questions. Story 17. Having a kind smile is essential. Women appreciate a man who takes care of his teeth. Investing in dental care, braces, or Invisalign, flossing, and brushing twice daily is worthwhile. Story 18. I found that talking to them like a human being helped. My 15-year-old self would have greatly valued that insight. Story 19. I got in shape. I went from an average weight of 155 pounds to a muscular 185 pounds after a tough breakup, which caught people's attention wherever I went. Story 20. Good fitness, good hygiene, and being well-dressed all combine to increase confidence, not arrogance. Confidence. Story 21. Taking better care of myself includes having a skincare routine, maintaining good nail and personal hygiene, putting effort into fashion, and, for some, wearing subtle makeup. Women appreciate a guy whose eyeliner is well done. The goal is to appeal to the female gaze. Story 22. Being in good shape, dressing appropriately, and most importantly, not caring whether they pay attention to me or not. Story 23. Women love my eyelashes. I have long, beautiful lashes that make women envious. They constantly comment on and compliment them. Personally, I find them annoying. Long eyelashes often curl over and get into my eyes or brush against the insides of my glasses, which is a really irritating sensation. Story 24. I started exercising, lost 50 pounds, and built some muscle. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. Getting in shape and losing weight changes how people treat you. Somewhat frustrating. Story 25. Confidence and a complete absence of any attempt to impress or entice others is essential. It may seem strange, but it is true. When a man is genuinely invested in a relationship, he has more options than ever. He stops trying so hard. When you convey that you would be fortunate to be with someone, they interpret it as them being unlucky. If you act as if they are an upgrade for you, you show that you are a downgrade for them. Story 26. If you are attracted to someone, let them know in a sincere, direct, and respectful manner. Do it quickly. If you wait, it may become uncomfortable. Story 27. Confidence is the first important quality. It involves not only being confident in your skills, but also in who you are as a person and how comfortable you feel with yourself. People who possess this confidence are generally more attractive than others. Another key aspect is having a sense of humor and not taking yourself too seriously. No one wants to be around someone who is boring or always takes things personally. Life is not that serious. Taking care of your appearance and hygiene demonstrates that you value yourself and pay attention to the small details. Shower every day, use good cologne, eat well, exercise, and be mindful of how you dress. Story 28. Confidence has always taken me further with women than most other things, particularly in my work environment. Story 29. Smelling great. Using perfume as a form of self-expression can be a powerful tool for communication. Story 30. Being in shape is important. I challenge anyone who is out of shape to spend 6 weeks eating healthily and working out 4 to 5 times a week. You will feel better about yourself and gain confidence. Story 31. I worked as a bouncer for a while in a bar with a very young clientele. I'm an overweight man in my mid-40s, not particularly attractive. I resemble a biker, although I'm not one. Every night at 1 a.m., I suddenly became the most popular guy in the room, with everyone touching me, revealing personal details, speaking suggestively, and making propositions. The only constant in this scenario was the alcohol. Story 32. Absolutely nothing. I'm starting to feel like I have negative energy that turns women off from a distance. I work out, I'm in good shape, I groom and dress well, and I can talk to women without any problems. Maybe I'm missing something and I don't know what it is. But honestly, what could it be? Story 33. If women pay more attention to people who walk around with an expensive chain, then I would rather remain unnoticed. Story 34. I switched from a button-down shirt to a tank top. 30 minutes later, I was in her bedroom. I suppose it was my arms. Story 35. I know why it was, but it's still hard to explain. I'll try. Back then, I worked out a lot. Having a good body doesn't hurt, but what really mattered was just being around and being pleasant. It was just me having a good time, not having to prove anything. Somehow, that got me more attention than actually trying. I picked that up pretty quickly, so I let go of trying and just did what I did. I have to add, if I'm drunk, people told me that I'm a pleasant drunk. I'm rarely drunk, but I think that was nice to hear, and with nights out, that must have helped quite a bit. Like I said, I find it hard to explain because I'm not sure if I really conveyed this very well. If I had to teach someone what I do and how I do it, I'd barely know where to start. I'm really not trying to boast or anything, but I rarely had trouble getting positive attention. Story 36. I don't know, but in the first 6 months of my bodybuilding journey, the attention from other men has increased significantly. Story 37. A random thing. Ties. When I was single, I would wear slightly outrageous ties. I guess it was my way of expressing individuality. I thought they were fun. If I had to wear suits every day, I wanted to stand out. Many women would comment on the ties and want to touch them, which was a nice surprise when it first started happening. Naturally, I embraced this attention. I got rid of most of the ties when I got married. Story 38. I may not be the best-looking guy, but I am passionate about the things I enjoy. I don't take myself too seriously. I have a sense of humor, and I possess some confidence. I have never had a problem attracting attractive women. Story 39. Not caring. When I'm out, just chatting with friends, not worried about meeting women, that's when they come flocking. The same applies to work. It's the women that I don't try to talk to who always want to chat. Now, don't get me wrong, I won't attract the top-tier individuals with this method. They are in their own world and don't really care about anyone else. But it will help me connect with a solid average. Story 40. For me, the $30 haircut and some new shirts garnered the most positive attention regarding my physical appearance. Being emotionally open, forthright about my thoughts and feelings, and introspective tends to attract the most general positive attention overall. Story 41. I went shopping with my 2-year-old, who is very cute. I have actually had women ask me out while I was with him, which has never happened before. Now I constantly notice getting looks. I haven't changed, but I guess women think I have. Story 42. Getting in good shape gave me a lot of confidence, but once I decided to go for the short haircut with a beard, I received many more compliments. Even if they are just friendly ones from female friends, it definitely boosts my confidence for a while. Story 43. One more thing. Jealousy can be effective if you have a particular woman in mind from whom you are trying to gain attention or influence her decision. It worked for my wife. She was uncertain about being monogamous because she thought she might leave town to pursue a PhD. So, I started dating other women. Of course, we agreed to this in our conversation. Once she realized I was genuinely going out with other women, she decided to commit to me, which was fine with me. That was what I wanted in the first place, but if she couldn't commit, I needed to move on. We have been together for 15 years now. Story 44. Going all the way. Allow Bukowski to explain. If you are going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, do not even start. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe even your mind. Could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. Could mean freezing on a park bench. Could mean jail. Could mean derision, mockery, and isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you will do it despite rejection and the worst odds. It will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you are going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it, do it, do it. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It is the only good fight there is. Story 45. When I am thin or in shape, I usually receive more attention from women without even trying. Story 46. Getting in shape is important. Interestingly, the other things you mentioned attracted no attention from women, only from men, and not of a romantic nature. Story 47. I went from 300 pounds to 200 pounds. It was a night and day difference in terms of positive attention from women. It was somewhat off-putting, to be honest. Story 48. Getting in shape made a significant difference. I lost 50 pounds, and suddenly women thought I had a great personality. Story 49. Honestly, I was treating them worse. I spent high school and the start of college trying to be kind to women and treat them with respect. They showed no interest. I started treating them poorly and found myself overwhelmed with romantic opportunities. Story 50. If I can use examples from the past, one of my most successful experiences was getting a girlfriend. Otherwise, being good at a hobby seems to work. Story 51. When I was on the dating scene, I was not attractive and I had no money. However, I was intelligent, funny, had a master's degree, and I am 6 feet 4 inches tall. Those 4 qualities seemed to make a difference. Story 52. I grew my hair out and got more visible tattoos. Now, if a woman wants to speak to me, she just asks about my hand tattoo, and away we go. It's like a cheat code. Story 53. Being the center of attention can spark curiosity in others. People may wonder, who is that person? However, it can also attract those who seek to benefit from your status. Story 54. A girlfriend with a curvy figure and a budget sports car. They sometimes scream my way, even when I'm with her. Story 55. I am still practically invisible now compared to when I was a broke college student living with my parents. I am in better shape, have a better car, my own place, and a good job, but none of that really matters if they do not care to talk to you in the first place. Story 56. I am definitely losing weight, being a problem solver, and being funny without expecting anything to come from dates. I also have the arm pump, the $30 haircut, and a golden chain, but I've had those for a while. I wasn't able to attract interest with just those. The first few points I named, except for weight loss, were already part of me, but I lacked confidence. I couldn't actually believe girls were interested in me. I talked to myself and reminded myself that if a girl wants to date me, she finds me attractive enough to engage with me. That's how I found the confidence, and now it's just easy. Story 57. I get more smiles and attention now that I'm married. It might also be because I wear a cowboy hat in southeastern Michigan. Just last night, as I was getting into my truck, a girl said, "Howdy, cowboy." To which I responded, "Howdy," as is my typical greeting. She wasn't very cute, but she still smiled. Story 58. Being well-groomed and dressing like an adult is important. Opt for nicer shoes that are not sneakers, avoid graphic tees, and choose decent pants or slacks that fit well. Oversized pants and shirts are not as flattering. Consider adding an accessory or two, such as a watch and a subtle chain. It's also essential to be open and friendly, greeting anyone who comes into your space with a simple hello. Story 59. Personality plays a significant role in how we connect with others. Being a good person truly stands out. Even when I was earning a substantial income, I never revealed it. I wanted people to appreciate me for who I am, not for my financial status. Story 60. Having a pretty face, low body fat, and hard muscles contributes to attractiveness, which helps gain positive attention from women. Story 61. After following my passion, everything fell into place regarding finances and appearance. So do what you love. Story 62. I have a fake happy personality. I'm dead inside but make an effort to at least appear smiling and carefree. Story 63. I have worked hard to develop a carefree attitude. I changed my body language and slowed down. I am much more subtle when checking out women. Most of the time, I pretend they are not even there. Story 64. Not a man, But I am so sad that no one mentions therapy. We notice when someone has been to therapy. The glow of self-reflection is the most beautiful trait in a person that I know. Story 65. Shaving my beard and leaving a little stubble is interesting. Usually, it causes me to grow the beard back fairly quickly. Story 66. Having a leadership position in a social setting worked for me twice. I met my ex when I was one of the leaders of an online book club. After we broke up, I joined several meetup groups and became a host for one of them. I made friends and was introduced to my current girlfriend by a friend of a friend from that meetup. Being funny helps a lot too. In summary, confidence, a good sense of humor, and leadership skills contributed to my success. Good outfits and being fit also helped me get noticed, especially by men. Story 67. My wife introduced herself to me. I was sitting at the bar, minding my own business while absolute mayhem was going on around me. There was a hockey game on TV, and people were arguing. I guess I stood out by not standing out. Story 68. It all comes back to confidence. The things you mentioned in your post all boosted my confidence. As a teenager, getting defined muscles helped me go from having no dates to experiencing one-night stands. As an adult, a nice haircut and beard trimming now enhance my confidence. I dislike an uneven beard, so I pay my barber to tidy it up with every other haircut, which makes me feel good. Additionally, wearing cowboy boots contributes to my confidence too. The extra height from good posture and the heel makes a difference for me. Story 69. When I walk around or go shopping with my 7-year-old daughter, she is quite small for her age and looks even younger. Women are often drawn to adorable children. Aside from that, I haven't really noticed much else. Story 70. As a woman, I can tell you that having good teeth and fresh breath goes a long way in getting positive attention. Story 71. Kindness and confidence are important. I have an interesting lifestyle and the confidence to be myself with all my flaws and quirks. If she doesn't like me, who cares? Story 72. Haircut. Have a personality, interests, and goals. Don't be overly attentive, but also don't show disinterest. Just enough. Dress nicely. Stay fit and disciplined. Story 73. Being married to an attractive woman gives the impression that I must have my life together. I often notice women who approach me thinking, he must be competent and successful. Despite wearing my wedding ring, the flirting never stops. Story 74. My wedding ring and my job. I work in retail, so I'm always seeing people. Depending on the person I interact with them, I may make a joke or two based on the energy they give me. However, 9 out of 10 times, women notice my wedding ring and my confident appearance, which makes them interested in me. Story 75. As I've gotten older, it's my hair. I'm a hairy man all over and I've always had thick, unruly hair that hasn't really gotten any thinner. My wife says I'm the product of a cleaning brush mating with a bear. It's very dark brown, so the gray hairs, especially around my ears, are very noticeable. Women have actually run their fingers through it, cooing about how thick and soft it is. Many men my age have started thinning or gone bald, so maybe that's it. I don't know. It's funny because when I was a kid, I was laughed at for my wild hair. Now who's laughing? Story 76. I usually play piano in more intimate settings, primarily involving just myself and the piano. I also enjoy playing piano while talking to someone, though that rarely happens. I mostly receive positive comments on my fashion sense. Story 77. I drastically changed my haircut from a short crew cut that I had been sporting for 20 years to a medium-length comb-over hairstyle. This definitely increased my attractiveness level. Women took notice. More recently, I grew out my beard. It's not very long but definitely full, about 3/4 of an inch. Approaching middle age, I have a hint of gray in it, which I was initially worried about. Women around me have made a special effort to comment on it, even those I only know through brief interactions at businesses like the bank, expressing how good it looks. Story 78. I would choose humor. All the Porsches in the world cannot create that kind of connection. The funny person always wins because it demonstrates a level of intellect, engagement, and connection that no object could ever achieve. Story 79. Working out, eating right, and taking care of my skin by washing it daily with quality face-specific products. Story 80. Listening, asking questions, and encouraging them not to shame themselves or other women. Story 81. Face, hair, physique when I was really fit, and cologne. In that order. I'm still waiting for someone to be drawn by personality. Story 82. Confidence is key. If you think you are nothing, others will see you as nothing. Have confidence. Talk to them as if it is easy. They can literally sense it. Of course, groom yourself, wear nice clothes, and have a nice haircut. Story 83. Read The Game and The Mystery Method. They were eye-openers for me after I got divorced. From a male standpoint, women can seem like strange creatures when it comes to attraction. I'm sure you've heard women say, "He was too nice," leading to a breakup. That always struck me as a strange thing to say. He was nice to you, so you decided to end it? Most of the time, they can't articulate what they find attractive. They just feel it. They have a multitude of switches that must be flipped in the right order. The whole confidence thing is amusing. I've met many men who are overly confident due to their wealth or skills, yet women don't seem to see through it. There was a phrase my friends used when they went out looking for women in Dallas. They called it the $30,000 millionaire, meaning that even if you only made $30,000 a year, you needed to come off like a millionaire. Never let yourself get into the friend zone. Women can be your friends after you've been dating for a year. Until then, you're the leader and they are the followers. They dislike men who won't make decisions because they prefer not to have accountability. It's almost as if they are unsure of what they should do, and for the most part, that is true. Even after 15 years of marriage and raising kids, they often still don't know. They typically have a tough time figuring out the world around them. Obviously, I'm speaking in generalities, but there is truth in that. Spend some time by yourself just observing the interactions of men and women in the world. Put your phone down and look up. You'll start to see what is happening. Go to a bar one night by yourself, sip on a few drinks, and observe. Don't stare or ogle. Just make mental notes. Can be fun. Story 84. I had short hair until I was 19. Then I went overboard and grew it down to chest length. I cut it short again for a couple of years, but I have since grown it back out to collar length. It is naturally wavy, and I take good care of it. Plus, I think it suits me better. Story 85. Yes, being funny and confident has made a significant difference in my dating life. I was always somewhat funny, but I had to work on my confidence. Developing confidence with women transformed my experiences. Story 86. Being fit. You may struggle with self-esteem, but if you are attractive, you will find romantic success. Story 87. Real estate is a good place to live, especially for families. This is true whether you own the property or are renting it at a reasonable price. Story 88. Being kind and funny while occasionally helping others without expecting anything in return is important. Sharing a good story can also make a difference. I have some friends who think that owning a luxury car or an expensive pair of sneakers will make them more successful in dating. They may not be entirely wrong, but the type of women that attracts is not for me. I would love to have a luxury car, specifically an Aston Martin, for my own enjoyment. I would enjoy disregarding any unwanted attention that might come from materialistic women. Story 89. 1. Humor. 2. Creativity. 3. Fitness. 4. Kindness. 5. Unique items. Handmade mini swing on my desk. Story 90. My eyelashes are apparently long and luxurious, which makes them the envy of many women. Story 91. When I am at the club, I love to dance and do not care about anyone who is watching. I let loose and can confidently say that I am probably having the most fun at any given venue. I am telling you, girls love that, and they will come up to me and start competing to be around me. Next thing you know, my friends and I are surrounded by girls. Story 92. A nice body and sense of style can go a long way for the women you already know. But what has gotten me the most attention is a well-thought-out Hinge profile with professional-looking pictures and engaging prompts. Dress up, Get a tripod and a smartphone and go to a nice area in the city. Take pictures of yourself with a pleasant backdrop. People may look at you oddly for a moment and then move on. Have someone capture good pictures of you engaging in a hobby. If you can cook, show it off and include videos if the app allows. Story 93. Women. Why are men such jerks? 15-year-old me. Can't get a girl to like me. Makes a mental note. Women don't like men who are jerks. Women, insert man's name, is a fool. I'm never seeing him again. It's over, yet goes back to him. 16-year-old me. Still can't get a girl. Makes another mental note. Don't be a jerk and don't be a fool. Women. He's only using me for sex. He's always mean to me. I hate him. 17-year-old me. Still can't get a girl. Makes yet another mental note. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a fool. Don't use girls for sex. As if I were that lucky. And don't be mean to girls. Women. I wish there were good men around. 18-year-old me. Forget this. Women lie. They must deep down want to be treated poorly. Also, 18-year-old me. Disregards all my mental notes and starts treating girls the way my disrespectful friends do. 18-year-old me. Starts getting girls. Story 94. My hair. I am middle-aged, and I still have a full head of hair. I grew up in a time when using hair products was common, and I have continued this habit into my later years. Story 95. I believe it is a combination of two factors: physical appearance and attitude. Physically, being well-dressed, maintaining good hygiene, being tidy, and demonstrating independence with your income are important. In terms of attitude, not giving attention to unreasonable expectations is key. Some may expect you to be overly attentive and treat women as if they were just another friend. In my experience, these two factors have helped me attract many women. However, whether those women were genuinely good people is another matter. Story 96. My vocabulary and conversational style. In basic conversations with women, I have been called refreshing, intelligent, and even extraordinary. I am very grateful for that. Story 97. Dressing well involves wearing an ironed shirt and a proper jacket, and taking the time to take pride in my appearance. Story 98. I have a mint green tie that I receive compliments on 9 out of 10 times I wear it. That helps, but it doesn't garner more than a passing compliment. It's a lovely improvement over the norm. Story 99. Making honest compliments about things I like about them and having good conversations and laughs together. Story 100. Not getting fades and finally letting my curly hair grow out. But it doesn't happen often. Another point would be my art skills. However, it sometimes leads to assumptions about my sexuality. I suppose people assume certain things about artistic individuals. Losing weight helps, but that's pretty much it. Rare occurrences. Story 101. Being in a band got me into some trouble as well. Some things that appear appealing on the outside can hold a lot of chaos on the inside. Story 102. I got fit in my 50s. I got an uncommon haircut. Suddenly, I started getting flirted with while grocery shopping. Story 103. Having or appearing to have money is one of them. When I was inexperienced, women seemed to want to be my first. Story 104. Hobbies and being helpful. I don't mean being taken advantage of. At one of my last jobs, a supervisor initially appeared unfriendly, but by the end, she was joking, commenting on my appearance, and giving me free items to take home. Story 105. Walking around the grocery store with my baby in the shopping cart, going to the store and buying clothes for my child, and taking them to the playground. Story 106. Travel, especially to places like South America, can be intriguing, particularly for those with blue or greenish eyes. Story 107. German woodworkers wear black pants with 2 zippers next to each other, made from a specific fabric. They look good, enhance my appearance, provide extra pockets, and demonstrate that I am skilled. I highly recommend them. Story 108. I focus more on my work than on chasing after others. I adopt a cheerful demeanor, even on days when I'm feeling down, and I consistently dress well for work. To be honest, I do these things primarily for myself. It feels like I don't care much about what others think or want. I mostly mind my own business. However, it does feel nice when they smile at me or say hello. Story 109. I'm gonna take the high road on this and skip the magic stick joke. A self-deprecating sense of humor goes a long way. Story 110. Oddly enough, growing a beard had always been a new experience for me. I had always been clean-shaven and grew the beard to win a bet. I was shocked at the positive response it received from women. I have decided not to shave it off. Ever. Story 111. Becoming passionately authentic. Things I have noticed. 1. Women who desire me for this reason are more easily discernible if they can connect with me. Not all who show interest should be those you pursue. Evaluate those who seem worthy of pursuit and see what you discover. Women who do not desire me for this reason are either not convinced after a short interaction or have had enough time to realize I am not the right match for them. Both of these factors narrow the dating pool, allowing you to focus more on your own life while concentrating on those who align with your vibe when you encounter someone special. Story 112. Being able to conduct myself in front of noisy, distracted crowds or groups and control the space with my voice and manner is challenging. For a shorter than average man, this is a difficult task and can be disconcerting for women who expect a larger, more powerful stereotype than I present. Story 113. High confidence and dressing well. Sharing life experiences on social media. Being fun and active is important. You don't have to be rich, but women do appreciate hardworking men. Story 114. 5 children at the store without my wife, especially my 1-year-old daughter with a bow twice the size of her head. People really appreciate father figures, especially those who are single. Story 115. I am a gay man. Some women want me to be with them romantically, even though I am not interested. They often desire something that seems harder to attain. I do not understand why they do not pursue bisexual men, but I have noticed that many women tend to discard bisexual men after using them for a brief relationship. Story 116. Confidence, an optimistic yet realistic mindset, several talents including art and sports, specifically soccer, and engaging conversations. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.